The Zephyrgen diplomatic shuttle had been state-of-the-art, equipped with quantum drives and self-repairing hull plating that could withstand the heat of 3 suns. Ambassador Krulax had traveled across 17 star systems in it without incident, yet here he was, watching wisps of acrid smoke curl from the engine compartment as the craft sat uselessly in the middle of an Earth desert. Defeated by what his scanner identified as sand and extreme thermal variance, the irony was not lost on him. Krulax's eyes scanned the horizon, their protective membrane struggling against the harsh glare of Earth's single sun. The planet's rotation had carried him from the crash site at dawn to this blazing afternoon, and his water reserves were critically low. His diplomatic immunity meant nothing to dehydration. That's when he saw them, 2 small figures approaching across the dunes, wavering like mirages in the heat-shimmered dot as they drew closer. Krulax realized they were juvenile humans, a male and female, both appearing to be in their early developmental years. The boy, perhaps 10 cycles old, wore a wide-brimmed covering on his head and carried a container of water. The girl, slightly older, held what appeared to be a primitive communication device. Whoa, Daniel breathed, stopping a few meters away. His eyes were wide with wonder rather than fear. Anna, look at his eyes. And those arms. Anna, more cautious than her brother, held up her phone. No signal out here, like I thought. Sir, are you okay? Do you need water? Krulax's translator chip processed the primitive electromagnetic signals that comprised human language. I am functional, he managed, his vocal cords struggling with the crude sounds. My vessel has experienced catastrophic failure. I have sent a distress signal to my fleet, but they are 3 solar rotations away. 3 days. Daniel's face fell. Mister, you can't stay out here 3 days. You'll die. The boy speaks truth, Krulax admitted, studying his cracked skin where the moisture had already begun to evaporate. However, my vessel's communication array is damaged. Without it, I cannot update my coordinates to the rescue fleet. They will search the wrong planetary sector. Anna looked at the smoking shuttle, then back at the alien. What's wrong with it? Krulax gestured with 2 of his forearms. The primary coupling has fractured. The secondary power matrix has destabilized. The cooling system has completely failed. It would require a Zephyrgen master technician and a fully equipped repair bay to restore functionality. Daniel walked up to the shuttle and peered inside, seemingly unfazed by the alien technology. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Child, this is not a simple. My dad can fix it. Daniel interrupted with the absolute certainty only a child could possess. Krulax felt the Zephyrgen equivalent of amusement. Young human, I appreciate your optimism, but your parent, while surely competent by Earth standards, would not possess the knowledge of Zephyrgen quantum engineering required to. Our dad can fix anything, Anna said, pulling out her phone again. Last month, he got our washing machine working with duct tape and a coat hanger. He fixed our truck with parts from a lawn mower. Yeah, Daniel added enthusiastically, and he watches all those YouTube videos about fixing stuff. He'll know what to do. Krulax wanted to explain the absurdity of comparing household appliance repair to spacecraft engineering, but the human children were already leading him across the desert. With no better options and his water running low, he followed Dot an hour later. Krulax found himself in a workshop that smelled of oil and metal, watching a human male in stained coveralls circle his diplomatic shuttle. The man's name was Tom, and he'd driven his flatbed truck out to retrieve the spacecraft without asking a single question about its origin. So, Tom said, wiping his hands on a rag, she won't start, and you need to make a phone call home. The communication array requires the primary power coupling, which has fractured beyond repair. Krulax explained patiently. Tom nodded, ducking under the shuttle. Fractured, you say? Mind if I take a look? What followed defied everything Krulax understood about proper repair protocols. Tom didn't consult technical manuals or request schematics. He simply looked, touched, listened. He muttered things like, that's basically just a fancy alternator, and this cooling system's the same principle as my radiator. Dad, be careful. Anna called out. I got it, sweetie. Tom replied, emerging with a crystalline component that pulsed with dying energy. See here, this crack. The metal expanded in the heat, contracted at night, and snapped. Same thing happens to engine blocks if you're not careful. Yes, but you cannot simply. Tom was already at his workbench. He cleaned the fracture, applied what he called industrial epoxy, and wrapped the component in copper wire. This should conduct the energy around the brake, like a bypass. Won't be pretty, but it'll hold long enough for you to make your call, that is. Theoretically possible, but the tolerances. Sometimes good enough is good enough, Tom said, reinstalling the component. Anna, hit that switch Daniel showed you. The shuttle hummed to life. The communication array flickered, stabilized, then glowed with full functionality. Krillak stood in stunned silence as his distress beacon updated with correct coordinates. His fleet acknowledged receipt. Rescue was now certain. How? Krillak finally managed. You have no training in Zephyrian technology. Tom shrugged. Machines are machines. They all got the same basic problems. Something's broken, something's loose, something's not getting power. You just gotta figure out which one and make do with what you've got. 3 days later, when the Zephyrian rescue fleet arrived, Krillak filed his official report. He wrote extensively about human adaptability, ingenuity, and the universal principle his rescuer had called making do. He attached a formal recommendation that Earth be moved from developing world status to potential engineering partners. He also sent a case of Zephyrian quantum tools to a workshop in the Arizona desert, along with a note that simply read, "For the next time you need to fix the impossible." Daniel kept the note on his bedroom wall for years. Next to it, he hung a photo of the day his dad proved that human ingenuity needed no translation. After all, some things really were universal: the desire to help, the refusal to give up, and the unshakable belief that with enough determination and duct tape, anything could be fixed.